So, welcome back to my channel. I know I have not made a video in a very long time, but this is what this video is going to be about. Why I haven't made a video in so long, and kind of like in life update, and just kind of, me explaining kind of what I've been going through, and just, it's been a whole lot, just so you guys know what has been going on lately and why I haven't posted in such a long time has to do with a couple of things. For one is you guys know, so the camera I have, you know how cameras usually have viewfinders on them and you can flip it upwards and kind of see what you're doing right in front of you. For one, my camera does not have that. So I finally have gotten the necessary cable I need to kind of see what I'm doing on a monitor myself, which is what I'm looking at right now. The video editing software that I had, I did not know how to work it. For the life of me, I could not figure it out. I bought a new one. This one seems a little easier to figure out, so I'm hoping it is. And then another reason has to do with my daughter. Majority of you guys know I do have a little girl. She is now 3 years old. Previously, I'm not sure if I've talked about in any of my actual YouTube channels. I do know obviously on other social medias, my Snapchat, Facebook, and Instagram, my daughter has quite a few medical issues. One of them being when she was about a year old, she was diagnosed with pediatric sleep apnea. So we did all the necessary steps we needed to do to try to get rid of that sleep apnea. One of them being her doctor at the time back in Texas told us that she had some obstructions which was causing her to wake up numerous times throughout the night as an infant. What it was is that she had there's like some little things in your nose, kind of like the back of your nose where your throat and your nose connect. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me, but they are called adenoids. She had an adenoidectomy in January of 2017, so she was like a year and a couple of months when she had that surgery done. Also had to get a tonsillectomy, but because she was so young, her doctor made the decision to not do both of them at the same time to put her through so much pain. So she had that done. Obviously it didn't help. It didn't help with her waking up. She was still waking up numerous times throughout the night. We then were relocated to Cheyenne, Wyoming. She's seen a ENT doctor here, which is an ears, nose, and throat specialist. And he went ahead and scheduled a surgery for February of 2019. She had a tonsillectomy done, and then she also had tubes inserted into her ears because she had frequent ear infections. Like every other month, she had either 1 or 2 ear infections. Sometimes she would have an ear infection in both ears and just would be miserable. So to help with that was to put tubes in her ears. We put tubes in her ears. She got the tonsillectomy, and then one of her adenoids did grow back. So that was also removed as well. So in one surgery, she had a tonsillectomy, an additional adenoidectomy, and tubes inserted in her ears. We were in the hospital for like 2 or 3 days, and then we came home, and it was just a matter of, a healing process. By the time she was 2 years old, she had already had 2 surgeries, and we were told that with her having the second surgery, there was only going to be a possibility of a 40% chance of it working. Unfortunately, it did not work. It helped with her snoring because she used to snore like if she was a grown man. And it also helped with the pausing in her breathing. With having those obstructions, she would stop breathing for between 10 to 30 seconds in her sleep, which was also very alarming. So her body naturally would send a signal obviously to her brain and wake her up. And she of course would wake up in a panic, would be crying, and would just, you know, just be in a panic. So I'm glad it helped the breathing, because the breathing, the pausing and the breathing was a real, it was a real stressor for me. It stressed me out a whole. So like I said, unfortunately the surgery did not work. She's still waking up numerous times throughout the night. And then now we're also gonna go into the topic of autism. I had concerns, and so did Arya's Nana, which is her grandma, that she may have had a sensory processing disorder. Because I do have a cousin, Madeline. She's 7 now, but when I had Arya, Madeline was like 4 or 5. Madeline was diagnosed with autism, and Madeline is on the high end of the spectrum. And she, when you have autism, you have a sensory processing disorder as well. So Madeline and Arya showed some similarities with the sensory disorder. So I went ahead and asked Arya's current pediatrician if we could get a referral and have her go seen by a specialist, because I was concerned that she had a sensory processing disorder. She sent me to a doctor in Fort Collins by the name of Dr. Landmeyer, and I believe the facility's name is Fort Collins Behavioral Youth Center. I'm not 100% sure. We had a evaluation done. She did all kinds of things with Arya. She did all kinds of games and, you know, talking to her and all of this kinds of other different stuff. And a week later, we got a phone call, and she told me, not a week, during that appointment, she told me she would call me in a week with the results, but that she wanted my husband there. She wanted both of us to be there to hear the results. That way we didn't be laying the information over and over and over when she could have both of us there at the same time. He was able actually to get off of work, and he went with me, and she kind of asked him what he felt like, and if he sees the things that I saw with Arya. He really couldn't answer just due to the line of work that he's in with the military. He would be gone 5 days at a time and home for like 2 or 3. So he didn't really see as much as I did. She went ahead and she told me that, you know, of course, she does see some sensory issues with Arya, but that also Arya has what they call high functioning autism. And that isn't the like direct medical term for it, but that's just what she told us, is that Arya does have, she has just enough to be put on the autism spectrum. And of course, to me, that was a shocker. And I was really emotional. And it just wasn't something that I was expecting to hear. I was just expecting to hear that she had a sensory disorder, but because she does have autism, she also has the sensory disorder. I didn't think she had autism just because of my cousin Madeline. She has autism and she has many traits, whereas if Maddie doesn't want you to touch her, then you just simply can't touch her. She kind of goes into a panic. Anytime she would meet a stranger, she, according to my tia, I'd actually have permission to talk about Maddie and to talk about their experience and everything. But she was saying that when after they found out that Maddie had autism, and it explained that when strangers would go up to Maddie would just be crying and kicking and screaming. My tia said she actually kind of had to fight her pediatrician to get Maddie tested for it, because Madeline was 3 and wasn't talking. And so she's like, I have other kids. I know, you know, technically when kids are supposed to be talking. Maddie's pediatrician thought it was, she just had maybe a speech delay. So she wanted to go ahead and just do speech therapy at first. Maddie was supposed to be going into pre-K. So my cousin Brianna brought home a piece of paper for something about enrolling the kids in pre-K, that if they had any speech impediments or, you know, anything like that, to go ahead and call the number that was listed below on the paper. So my tia went ahead and called, and they told her that Maddie has sensory issues. So the school said, okay, and that they tested Maddie themselves. They had a psychologist come in, and they, you know, he did everything, or she did everything that normally they do to test kids to find out if they have autism. And it came back that Maddie did have autism. So of course my tia took that, you know, diagnosis to Maddie's pediatrician and told her that Maddie did in fact have autism. So the pediatrician kind of just went, like, you know, was trying to be helpful after the fact that she had already gotten a diagnosis through somebody else. So they did, you know, they went ahead and did all the necessary steps that they needed to do. They put Maddie in occupational therapy. They put Maddie in speech therapy. They put her in, I believe, ABA and physical therapy. Maddie is now 7, like I said before. And from what my tia was telling me is that Maddie has benefited a whole lot from the therapy, from occupational and all that. She still has some little things, but that the pediatrician and the teachers and all that feel that Maddie is at a point where she can be put into a regular class and possibly excel. They say Maddie loves to read. My cousin Brianna actually made a video of Maddie herself when she was 4 or 5 explaining what autism was and how it makes her feel, and kind of just explaining what autism is in the eyes of a 4 or 5-year-old. I heard a little snippet of the video somewhere on the screen, and then I'll actually link the in the description box below. I'll actually link it, link the actual video my cousin made if any of you guys are interested and want to go watch it. I absolutely loved it. I love that my cousin did it. I think it's amazing that Maddie was able to explain herself what autism is in the eyes of, you know, in the eyes of her, and all the things that she likes and all the things that she doesn't like, and how she has good days and bad days.
My name is Madeline Tagalo. I am 4 years old. I have the diagnosis of autism. Most people don't understand they want to be an autistic. To me, it was like having superpowers. My hearing super sensitive. Sometimes it's very hard to understand what's going on around me.
So diagnosed with autism, and she is now 3, and she just recently started occupational therapy. With Aria, with her type of autism diagnosis, with the high functioning, is meaning she doesn't have any intellectual disability. So Aria can live a normal life. Any child with autism or adult with autism can live a normal life, but with Aria, it'll be a little easier. So what Aria's autism diagnosis is that she has issues communicating socially and understanding and communicating her emotions. For an example, when Aria gets really upset, she sometimes can be aggressive. We had gotten over the aggressiveness when she was younger. If she, you know, when she was trying to communicate, obviously before she could talk and she would get frustrated, she liked to hit and she liked to bite. And we finally got rid of that, but now that it's starting to come back, the aggressiveness. When she doesn't get what she wants, or something doesn't go her way, what she likes to do is she'll get her hand and she'll like grab somebody or something, and she'll like try to dig her nails into them as hard as she can, or occasionally she'll like try to hit you. And then another thing is that sometimes she'll stomp up the stairs and she'll go into her room and she'll just scream. Like in the movies when people get upset, for an example, like in Lilo and Stitch, when Lilo goes upstairs and she screams into her pillow, Aria doesn't do that. Aria just belts it out. She just screams. And then sometimes she just likes to kick things, or she will go upstairs to her room and she'll just repeatedly open and slam her door and open and slam it. And she's happy. She's very happy. She's like jumping around excitedly everywhere and everything. And when we're out in public and she has her meltdowns, or she's super excited to where she's yelling and she's jumping around, people like look at her, and it bothers me sometimes. But I also, think at the same time, they don't know what's going on with her. They don't know that she is autistic and that she cannot help, she can't help this stuff. She can't control her outbursts sometimes, no matter how hard, we try to get her to, or anything like that, which is what I'm hoping the occupational therapy will help with. And behavioral wise, she's just like, Aria has a response for everything. If I tell her not to do something, she has a response for it. If I tell her, to pick up her toys or something, she has a response for it, whether she's telling me no, or to wait, or to hold on, or that she's doing something. And it's a lot to deal with. Aria has sleep apnea. She has autism. We just took her to Children's Hospital a couple of days ago to check her ferritin levels, which is kind of like, I guess, her iron. And she tested low for that. She's at a 10.8. So now she's on iron supplements. So that's a whole nother fight, is getting her to take those iron supplements. It's a liquid. But obviously it does not taste good. So it's a fight every day to get her to take it. If that doesn't work out, if with her being, her ferritin levels is a possibility why she's not sleeping, because kids with autism, for some reason, their body does not produce enough iron naturally like it's supposed to. And even though Aria eats a lot of food rich in iron, her body does not absorb it like it's supposed to. So these iron supplements are meant to help with that. And I'm hoping these iron supplements work, and that we don't have to do another sleep study to figure out why she's not sleeping. If the iron doesn't work, there's a possible reason is that she has something called periodic limb movement disorder. And it's where when she's asleep at night, she has no control over her limbs moving. Because, like, she sleeps in our bed with us occasionally, even though we put her to bed in her bed in the middle of the night. She'll come to our room and climb in our bed. But throughout the whole night, she literally kicks and throws her arms around, and we have her feet in our back. I've had her arms on my face. She's literally punched me in my face in my sleep. She's kicked me in my face in her sleep. Like, it's Aria just, it's like one thing after another, and it's really overwhelming sometimes. Like I was saying, I have severe anxiety. And sometimes I just get so overwhelmed that I don't want to be around my husband, and I don't want to be around my daughter. And that makes me upset, because I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to, not be around my husband and not be around my daughter. But, I mean, it happens. I have panic attacks, with the anxiety comes panic attacks and things like that, and it's just a whole lot. And that was one of the other reasons that I just stopped doing my channel, because I just didn't feel motivated to make any videos or anything like that. I was exhausted. I was, you know, anxious, and just, it was just a whole lot. My husband being gone all the time, finding out all these things with Aria, and, you know, just like I said, my husband being gone all the time, finding out all these things with Aria, and then on top of trying to keep content up for, you know, Instagram and YouTube and all this other stuff. It's just, it's a whole lot. And it's a whole lot now. Like, I'm still going through it. My husband is home every day now, but he comes home tired. And, you know, I still have to be a wife. I still have to, you know, clean and cook and do laundry and do all that. And before anybody tries to come in the comments and say that, you know, well, it's a 50-50 thing, your husband is supposed to help you. My husband does help me, but I also do a lot of the stuff because of the line of work that he's in. I don't mind doing it. This is what I signed up for when I decided to marry him and decided to start a family with him. But I feel like even with all of the things that she has going on, and just the things that I have personally going on with my anxiety and with panic attacks and everything, I feel like if I don't do something that makes me happy, which is doing makeup and making videos and, you know, just doing all of this, then I'll fall into a depression and just not want to do it like I stopped doing a year ago, 2 years ago. You know, that's just a little bit of what I've been going through. And like I said, it was a lot, and I'm gonna really honestly try to keep up with this channel again, because I've gotten everything necessarily that I need to. Obviously, to see myself on a monitor, to be able to do makeup tutorials, to make sure that I have, you know, that you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Because I know in like my last videos, I would have a palette like literally like right in front of me, and I would like be telling you, you know, you needed to do this, but you couldn't really see it. And I'm also to make, you know, daily life updates if you guys want it, and if you guys want to know more about Aria's autism, and just kind of you know, yeah, just if you guys want to know more about Aria's autism and more about Maddie, because in another video, if you guys do want to know more, I'm actually gonna like compare Maddie and Aria, because Aria is on the low end of the spectrum, whereas Maddie's on the higher end of the spectrum. And even though they're on opposite ends, they have so many similarities, but also so many differences. And like I said, I want to be able to keep up with this channel and make content, and you know, just do something that makes me feel like me and makes me feel happy. But yeah, so this is the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching, and go ahead and hit that little bell so you guys will be informed when I upload a new video. And go ahead and leave some comments down below. If you guys have any questions you want me to answer, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below as well. I'm a stay-at-home mom now, so I have plenty of time to answer your questions if you guys have any questions, and, you know, make more videos and put more time into editing. After, of course, you know, I get everything done with Aria's therapy and all that, and everything I need to get taken care of. So, like I said, thank you for watching. Go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, do whatever. Thanks.